Hello YouTube, this is Chaos Rip It. Man, it's been too long. Finally got this Xbox fix. I just want to say thank you for anybody who has watched any of my videos. I'm hoping everybody's having a blessed, wonderful, fantastic day. I'm hoping everything in your day is going well and going plus ultra. So, from what I'm looking at, it's been 11 months. 11 whole months since my last video. So, yeah, it's been almost a year. So, one quick update while this is playing. I ended up trying to get this power arm, and this is a level up video, so I don't really care, you know what I'm saying, but you know, I don't really worry about trying to push the story forward. I ended up getting a boom arm. Don't get me wrong, I'm just tired. My blue snowball mic, it's the silver and black one, usually round. I think on Facebook Market they use like the pure white or the pure black. They usually sit on a tripod stand. So I didn't know. Like, I was trying to do a DIY where I had like a boom arm light, and you take the light off and all electricity off, and then you do some other stuff and you fix it. And yeah, see, when people do stuff like that, yeah, they have a whole garage of tools. I'm in an apartment. I ain't got no tools for nothing. So yeah, it was wonderful, fantastic. You know what Matt says? Just pay $20 and get a boom arm. Call it a day. Common sense should have hit me really hard. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a horrible intro, but you know what? It is what it is. So let's go ahead, push forward, and let's start where we stopped at from the last time. You know, props again to Nerd Nation for fixing my Xbox. Because don't get me wrong, I can go for the upgrades and all this and all that. And I'm like, look, I'm an OG Xbox player, okay? I just want the thing to work. Later on, I'm probably going to get either them or I think it was Retro Kansas or Retro, what's the name? Sorry, I hit the thing. Retro Gaming KC to, you know, upgrade it to where, you know, I can just play all the Xbox games I want without having to search God knows whatever. But yeah, so let's see, load and save. Yeah, a friend of mine, you know, he's trying to do some other stuff and get things taken care of and get things done and everything. So it's you know, inspirational, you know, kind of thing, and coaching and blah blah blah. So you know, I respect people who do that kind of stuff. You know, so trying to run a shop. This thing, you know what I'm saying, like a little mechanic thing, or at least have the abilities of that. You know, like, it's so many people you learn. I mean, I met a genius. I met two geniuses, surprisingly enough. So yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, no. So you know what I'm saying. So right now I'm just getting back into the groove of things, and I'm just gonna go in and actually let me check my inventory. Because my Xbox basically died on me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It did die. The disc tray was messed up, and you know, without going into too much into it, you know, it just died. It's just the way it is. It died, hands down. So it sucked all the way, and I hated it. You know, because I have a way of doing things, and I will say that is my thing. I don't know. You can call it the prognosis of something. I don't really care. But it is what it is. So I know for her, that gets my magic up, and then magic pretty much helps me to heal up, blah blah, the whole 9 yards. That's for strength, that's shield, and then get health. But I think it's more of a constant. This is more constant. That's more of a 3 blast. That's mostly for power, but up close, and it, you know, a large amount of health. But it's not as much as this one. I won't lie on that one. This one is more. A bit of both, you know. So that should work. Him, on the other hand, so underrated. And I don't see him on no playthroughs, like, just talking about him alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's basically he got a pistol in his hand. Or a pew-pew. Oh. So basically, he has a pew-pew in his hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. This is a blaster. You know what I'm saying? You know, power and health. That one, it's okay. It's okay. I won't lie. It's okay. That one, it's very specific. It is very specific. And that one is just throwing everybody down so you ain't got to worry about it later. So, you know, but mainly it's going to be between this blaster and that blaster. So, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this one. It's lovely. Hers. Okay, poison. Mostly for health, but a little bit of energy because she can do certain things. Same thing there. You know, I think it's what, yeah, a little bit. Poison, same thing. I think it's yeah, mostly power there. I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah, and Hims. I'm not even going by names anymore. I'm just tired right now. Hims. Mostly health. You know, power and mana. You know, it is what it is. All of just mainly health and a little bit of magic, and mostly just yeah. Okay. And all right, cool. So now that I got that part done, which I am making this a long intro, and I wasn't trying to. Let's get to the health that took me 12 minutes to get through. I might even cut half of this out just for kicks and giggles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to go that long, for real. I see sparks everywhere. I see sparks. You know what? They need to have the plumbing company down here, because, yeah, you know. Alright, nothing here. Oh, I got that. Cool. That works. That works. Yeah. Whew, man, I've been waiting. Alright, let's go. Man, it's been a minute. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta do this a certain way. Wait a minute. Come on. Where you at? I did not. See, you see how long it's been? See how long it's been? You know what I'm saying? Alright, here we go. Here we go. Alright. Because I got to get used to things again. Where's the little dude? There you go. There you go. Hold on. Ah, dang. Never been a good aimer. Boom. There you go. Go. Boom, there you go. Just aim at you. Cool. No. There you go. Ah, come on. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Alright. And everybody's pretty much done. Walk around, pick up some things. Okay. Like I said, I'm getting back into it. I'm honestly getting back into it. It is not the easiest thing for me. I think I'm getting most of these most of the time. I gotta get back into it. Man, I really do. Is this where I just came from? Yep. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was. I forgot if they... Ah, yep, it is. It is. Okay, cool beans. Alright. Alright, let's see. Anybody? Yep, that's what I'm aiming at. No, I'm not waste time. This is basically like Echo's Blaster, the main one I like. Alright, let's see. I think we'll go with this. Oh man, I'm stuck.
Come on, people, pick up the pace.
Why is she stuck? Why is she stuck? I don't know why she's stuck. Yes. Yeah, I can give it that.
From the depth of the void comes the pain of the fallen.
It's funny how they give her the angel thing, but it's kind of predictable. They always give like the ladies the healing stuff. They even do it in Legend Dragoon, and they're starting to talk about that now. Get these up now before. Yeah. Usually I'll be trying to figure out some stuff to talk about most of the time, cause like, you know, but I mean I've been so out of it, man. Like, man, let me see, cause I've already spent like 19 minutes as is, you know, since it's gonna be like a pretty long video, cause I know I'm just trying to get back into everything, which I've said over and over again, which I don't like saying that over and over again. Oh, let me see. You know, I believe that this is personal belief that, you know, if you're trying to do the whole self-discovery thing, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know, it's really isn't, because it'll make you a better person. Be realistic. Be not extremely, because you know dreams sometimes aren't, but kind of be realistic on, you know, trying to get to your goal. Don't try to just, you know, sometimes you gotta trick yourself into being better, which is totally understandable, and I think you should. But like, be realistic about how to get there. Because you know, it won't be easy. None of this is gonna be easy. Absolutely none of it's gonna. If you're trying to really, you know, pursue your goals and trying to push forward or trying to get something done, be honest about yourself. Be honest about it. You know, be honest to yourself. You know. You know, because it's like, you know, I mean, it's like, best way I can say it, it's like a skinny person, like a really, really skinny person that has no muscle mass at all, saying, you know, oh, tomorrow I'm going to, you know, without no help, be able to lift with no mechanical help, no biological help, no serum help or anything like that. I am going to lift 300 pounds, no problem. Like, that is not realistic. And if it is, you're going to pay a cost, right? But if you say, hey, you know, maybe in about 6 to 8 months, maybe even 12 to 14 months, you know, I'll be able to be in better shape, you know, physically. You know, that's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm gonna better myself. You know, I'm gonna be a better businessman. I'm going to, you know, succeed in general. Nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm for the skinny person that doesn't have any muscle mass. Like, I'm going to, I don't know. So I'm trying to think of something that's realistic. Like, I'm going to be able to. Let's say your max is 50 pounds, both hands, so it'd be 25 each. Let's say, just for kicks and giggles, you'll make it to 75 pounds. Well, well, let me see, because I want to make sure. If let's even it up. Let's say you do about 30 pounds each, right? So it'd be 60 pounds. That's attainable. You know, it's like going step by step in the right direction. Instead of you thinking, I'm going to lift 1,000 pounds in no time. Like, you are not a Super Saiyan. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to, you know. And then people say, oh, you're hating. I'm like, no. Unfortunately, biology says that. You know, and if you try to do some real messed up stuff, you're going to pay a horrible price. You know what I'm saying? And no one wants to pay that price. Nobody wants to pay that price. So, you know, but, you know, as long as you understand the consequences and repercussions of what you're trying to do and really try to live and move forward, I believe anything is possible. Time and consistency will get anything done. Almost. You know. Yeah, I mean, you know, like, there's people out there who really, I'm not hating on them for this. Some people out there who can't read. Like, can't read a word, can't read a symbol, can't read nothing. Yet they can build a house from the ground up. And they figure, oh, it's a waste of time to learn how to do this, you know. I can make money doing this and not worry about it. And then on your check, they say, hey, we're going to take 20% off of out of your check and make you work even harder. You go like, it just must be the same old two-step. Like, you go, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So now you got to you have to rewrite your brain to learn how to read at, let's say for kicks and giggles at 40, like, or 50. You know how hard it is to teach an old dog new tricks when they've been doing that for so long. Like, it ain't easy. None of it is easy. None of it is easy at all. Don't mean nobody get to shame you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not easy. But to say, oh yeah, I'll be able to read a novel. You know, you never read a single word on a piece of paper before in your life. Yeah, you kind of asking for it. You know what I'm saying? When it's not necessary, be honest about it. You know, like, hey, I'm going to, you know, maybe learn half of the alphabet. You know, I'm trying to think realistically. I'm going to learn half of the alphabet. There is nothing wrong with that. You know, you're going to take the time out to learn half the alphabet and at least recognize some of the symbols as letters, then yeah, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I wouldn't shame nobody, because there's people now that can't read. Now that can't read. Like, because everything's text and everything is, no, it's like, it's a realistic thing. You know, you go to public school and barely anybody can read. You know, and they don't make that a qualification. And then they try to make you read these books that nobody cares about, that you will never use once you leave that establishment. Like, give them something they want to read. You know, heck, even the people teaching this stuff, whatever they're teaching, you know, don't want to even read it. Don't want to even read half this stuff. Like, come on, that should tell you something. You know, they're just going through the motions and figuring that, you know, as long as you can be here for 8 hours and, you know, you can do the job and call it a day, then you'll be fine. You know, we're training you to be a good worker, and that's it. You know, don't ask questions, just do what you're supposed to do and move on. You know. You know, if you can, you know, I mean, they don't even teach, from last time I checked, in most public schools, they don't even teach you about carpentry, plumbing, or nothing like that. You got to go to, like, Job Corps, stuff like that to even learn that. And even in some cases, you can't even do that. I mean, it's been so long, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we'll teach you maintenance, but we can't teach you direct carpentry because it goes against union rules and blah, blah, blah. You can't do them outside, and, you know, politics, you got to love it. But, you know. But even still, you know, it's like, it's. But like, well, I went on a small rant. Sorry, but yeah, like just basic stuff. And the bad thing is that like in society they shame you for everything because it's one big schoolyard. Prison and school are made the exact same way with the exact same rules. The only difference is, with school you have a boatload of freedom to a certain degree, and prison you don't. And you ever notice that all three, both prison, jobs, and schools work the exact same way? It's not a conspiracy theorist kind of thing. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying they're literally set up the exact same way. Except the horror stories and, depending on where you at, it's crazy, man. But yeah, like not easy, but how wonderful it would be if for just teach somebody how to make money in the place that they're at. Like, think about that for a minute. Make money where you're at. I've seen a YouTube video where this gentleman, it was some kids, unfortunately, that robbed him, what I'm saying, of something out of his trailer or something out of his workbench or something like that. And instead of him, doing what most people would do and just, hey, send them to jail and stuff like that, he was like, you know what? Let me teach. He gave a reward because they know the kids were just doing it because it's all they know and that's all they know how to do to make money because they're, they don't have everything that they need at the house. You know what I'm saying? And they were desperate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the best way to deal with poverty the majority of the time is to educate, yeah, but to give them something that they can use to build a life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can teach somebody how to, if you can teach somebody that, hey, if you read this book, you can learn how to do carpentry, which means you have to learn how to read. Now you have an emphasis to learn how to read. Now you want to read. If you, let's say comic books, right? I'm betting let's take it for real. Let's just say social media in general. That's what you really want to do. You want to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be one anyway, at least from what I've seen. And it's like, okay, well, how would I do it? Editing. There's so many ways into the industry, but and I'm not saying I know any of it. I'm just kind of rounding off, stuff, and it's just like. Sorry, I'm just going in and out. But it's like, learning how to read contracts. Hey, as an influencer, let's say, I don't know, off of YouTube. Let's say you got to do a YouTube contract or a Facebook contract, and you're like, man, I can't wait to make this money. Blah blah blah. And you're like, whoa. Before you do that contract, look right here. And instead of you having to read the whole thing, you get to the point where you read what you actually need. Let's just say for kicks and giggles, one of those stipulations is, let's say, for every $1 that you make, you only make maybe 20 cents or 10 cents. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's how they are. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's something that is usable that you can use for kick. Just for an example. If that's what it is, I'm only making 20 cents off of. I mean, granted, you probably need to get a lawyer and stuff like that, But just like when you're trying to, learn how to fix a car, little by little, you don't start with trying to rebuild an engine. You say, okay, well, what about, maybe changing spark plugs? Maybe it's screwing a screw or a bolt. You know what I'm saying? Learning how an alternator works. You start off small and you work your way up. And that's just the same thing with reading. You start off small and you work your way up. Letters and figures and stuff like that. You work your way up. There's no shame in this, especially nowadays. So, man, I ain't got time nowadays to shame anybody. You know what I'm saying? I knew somebody who only had like an 8th grade education and worked at Six Flags. Six Flags. An 8th grade education and worked at Six Flags. And then on that person's off time, during the retirement, from my understanding, fixed barbecue pits out of old drums. Fixed barbecue pits. And I mean good ones too. You know? I mean, I would never, ever, ever in my life shame anybody for what they have to do to make a living. You know what I'm saying? And all that. And it's like, if they can learn how to do that, then you, with the internet, can learn how to read. But it's hard because, with pride and everything else, and this, that, and the third, it's not the easiest thing to admit, because everybody wants to shame you because, negativity sells on Facebook before anything else, or, any social media app, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, if the shame part can be kicked out and go like, hey, you trying to learn a little bit here, a little bit there, okay, here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit. And you can use this here, you can use this there, you can use this here, you can use this there. And you know how easy things would be? But like I say, you start off small and you work your way up to something better. You don't try to get to the top step by skipping 40 steps. Majority of the time, you start one step at a time. If you're tall, you go 2 and 3 steps. That's fine. But you start small and you work your way up. Just work your way up. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing, catastrophic about it. You work your way up. And just like when you start working out, you have to work out small. Start with the small. Start with not with just the barbell, not with the barbell itself. No weights, just the barbell, because the barbell has weight on it already. It's already heavy. It already has weight on it. Start there. Work softly. There's nothing wrong with that. You start off small and work your way up to something better. And if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. These guys who come in with the humongous muscle, I'm not shaming them, because I've seen women do the same thing, or people of any sexuality or whatever. I've seen folks in general do the same thing. Somebody's lifting weights, or they're running, or they're doing the best they can with what they have, and they have to first ignore everything around them just to start off small. And usually January 1st majority of the time. You know how it is with those New Year's resolutions, they die out by February. But let's say you push past February, you're, I don't know, you're super skinny, right? You're trying to build that muscle up, or you're a little, you're heavy. You just call it what it is. You're heavy. You're working your butt out to get to where you need to go to. You do the cardio thing, you do the body weight thing, you do the muscle isolation thing, or lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got to do. First, you start off small and you work your way up. You start off small and you work your way up, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every gain isn't seen. Every accomplishment doesn't get a pat on the back majority of the time. But you take your time, you do the work. You get the job done. All right. And you do what you need to do to move forward. It's not easy. It's not always fun. It's not always, excellent. But you get the job done. And slowly but surely, yes, even when you start at 40 and 50 years old, you will get the gains that you want. by listening to your body, saying, okay, this is how far I can push it, work with it, move forward. The body adapts, the mind adapts. If you know, and I'm not saying every situation is the same. I'm not saying that. I'm saying work with what you have to get to where you need to get to. And you start off small. That's why a lot of times when you start reading, you usually start at where? Preschool or something like that, you know, or even first grade, depending on how you look at it, you know. And, you know, I mean, a lot of times they say, you know, sometimes you learn at home. But, you know, if it is what it is, if it is like that, that's cool. If it's not, then it is what it is. Let's see what I'm going to do with him. Let's see. Power, essence. I'll give him that. Oh wait, was that hers? Oh, you know what? That was stupid. I wasn't paying attention. But what oh well. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least she'll be evened out. But yeah. I mean, I ain't got time to shame nobody. There is no time to shame anybody. You know, the way that the world is, you know, the best you can do is work with what you have to get until you get to where you need to. And shaming is gonna happen, but I hate to say it like this, but you gotta have some tough skin, you know, and do what you can with what you have. And sometimes that means you gotta ignore people and move forward. You know, the hater, who cares? Who cares? I hate to say it that way, but who cares? Do what you need to do and move forward. Do the uncomfortable thing now so you ain't gotta deal with it later. Don't kick it under the rug. Do what you need to do now so you can move forward. You know? And call it a day. So, you know. I didn't say it was gonna be easy. I didn't say it was gonna be nice. I didn't say it was gonna be sweet. I didn't say any of that. I'm saying do what you have to do now so you can move forward. And make sure you surround yourself with people who are trying to build you up, not take you down. But yo, this is Chaos Ripper signing out, saying thank you. Have a blessed, wonderful, fantastic day. Please, 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 do not be so prideful that you can't start. Okay? Start with what you have to build up to something great. Do the hard work now so you can, you know, get what you need later. Instead of doing it later and then you be in a horrible place. Peace!